Green Apple. Let's continue our track by track listen through to the Variety mini album. It's actually, well, it's 6 tracks, but it feels like an album. Even their mini albums feels like albums, which is what a mini album should feel like. Anyway, let's continue the listen through with VIP, although it's not spelt, you know, like initials like LP was. So it's more like VIP than VIP. But let's find out what we get from this one, because so far, 3 tracks in, it's been a high energy ride. I mean, Start was a really big, bright Mrs. Green Apple style single. Even though we're very early in their career, you can still really hear their ability to do these excellent kind of singles that just feel so full of energy and so full of sound and layering as well. Risky Game absolutely continued that through into track 2. And then LP was this high tempo, kind of like subtle but very high tempo blast that was just really great as kind of like a chilled headbanger. So where are we going to go with VIP, VIP, whatever it's called? We're halfway through the album, so if they wanted to take a left turn at this point, I think it would be more of an earned, but are they going to keep the pace up? Who knows? Let's jump in, find out, and as always, we'll talk a little bit more afterwards, and I'll give you my thoughts, and we can discuss it in the comments. Anyway, here we go. This is VIP or VIP from Mrs. Green Apple. We got our answer there. Oh, loving the keyboards already. And you got that soulful guitar to the side as well. The production is amazing. Do they produce their own songs? It's always so consistently of a similar kind of like impactful tone. Oh, that's a foot tapping. This is like the foot tapping album to end all foot tapping albums. Oh, that was a nice little drop that one. Almost like a half beat just dropped away. Bass playing quite. And now the bass line builds up. This is crazy funky as well. Early on, someone in the comments told me that this was their favourite Mrs. Green Apple album. I'm starting to see why. That's a nice little funky breakdown. Ooh. Love that. A little bit avant-garde there. And it's kind of implying a key change. Go back? Yeah. Yeah, they really had a thing for earworms on this album, didn't they? You can tell early on in their career they were trying to bag themselves a few hits. Or at least crowd pleasers. Interesting. I love that. Like the final key change right at the very end. The only other song I can think of off the top of my head that actually does that, ironically, Caramel Candid, the final song on their debut album, Neither Heaven Nor Hell, does exactly the same trick. But that's the only other song that I can think of where it just suddenly has a key change right at the very end, just for like the last couple of bars. This is great. Interesting thing is that actually there are a lot of parallels between this and LP. Obviously, LP feels like I'd have to listen to them right next to each other to really grasp it. I've just actually uploaded the LP reaction now, so it's not immediately in my brain exactly what the tempo is on that. And tempo is one of the hardest things to remember, actually. But oh, I'm getting a phone call. One moment. Sorry, I had to take a very urgent phone call there. But anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. This is a song that realistically, what it does is kind of reminiscent of what LP did so well, but in a slightly different flow. So, as I said, I think this is a little bit of a slower tempo from what I can remember off the top of my head. But basically, you're getting a similar thing where it's all about maintaining a sense of momentum, maintaining a sort of sense of this sort of flow that is produced by having all these wonderfully layered sounds. I really enjoyed, again, so many of the things that I want to say as compliments to this are things you've probably heard me say as compliments about other Mrs. Green Apple songs. It's the things about like the little keyboards popping in from the background, giving these little nice moments of just quick runs, quick fills of keyboard sound. And then you'll have maybe a little bit of guitar just playing a slow and interesting guitar line over the top of that. The bass is walking around. It feels like every single instrument at every single point is playing something that then changes a few bars later. But all of the individual instruments are doing things that just pop in and add a little bit. You know, nothing is just sort of centrally taking over the whole sound. It's not like a band where you have like the guitar is the center of everything and then the other instruments are just in the background. Everything is together. Everything is sort of mixed and on the same footing and playing as this kind of tightly interwoven collection of sounds that all together make up the wonderful kind of soundscape of the song. And so I really thought this was a great example. Again, it's a song that, a lot like LP, has a chorus that just makes you want to sing along. It's a very nice chorus. A lot like LP as well, I would say that it probably would get stuck in your head, but I wouldn't necessarily call it like a single kind of chorus. It's not one of those choruses. It's one that's very good at kind of getting into your head, but I don't know if it's one of those ones that is like a timeless kind of chorus. You have a timeless kind of choruses tend to have a little bit more of a unique flow. This is a fairly rudimentary, simple kind of chorus. It's very much a simple formula, but one that works because although it's fairly brief, although it's a fairly short chorus, a lot like with LP, it's one that rolls by as the song just keeps on rolling on. So again, it's a continuation of the same thing we heard in LP. In fact, I would say that another thing that it has in common with LP is that clearly the bridge, rather than being a bridge in the normal sense where you have like the tune goes and does something totally different, here it's more of a breakdown. It kind of goes simple like LP did. LP went more for that sort of weird distorted sort of feeling where everything started to sound a little bit lo-fi, I guess. This song instead went for a different direction, in as much as we still went to a place where everything backed off. The arrangement simplified a little bit, but here things went a bit jazzy. We got kind of an implied key change where some of the instruments were playing up to a different key slightly, but it was just kind of like everything went a little bit jazzy. There were some really fun little moments in there. Just everything kind of, how to say, it just was like a little gentle tone shift, breakdown, a small, gentle, jazzy tone shift, and then throws you back into the last chorus. So again, this is a similar formula to what we saw on LP, but I don't feel, even though the two songs formulaically play a lot of the same tricks, I don't feel like they are interchangeable. They do definitely feel very different. And that's quite impressive. I would say that LP's, if I were to say it in a very simple way, LP's kind of got more of a head banging vibe, whereas VIP's a little bit more funky, a little bit more dancey. It's kind of got a bit of more of a mid-tempo sort of shuffle to it. And the net result is you have two songs that continue this incredible energy that has been going since track one. And wow. I mean, as I said, when I jumped into this, someone had told me prior in the comments that I think it was in the comments underneath Risky Games. Someone mentioned that this was their favorite album. It's a hard one to judge. Certainly at early phases, and especially considering that mini albums have a very different remit. I mean, you still want to hear a range of variation on a mini album. You still want a mini album to achieve everything that a normal album does. It's obviously an easier thing to achieve when you have less songs overall to actually continue the quality over. However, I will say that just on a pure satisfaction level, 4 tracks in, smiled all over my face as this goes on. This is definitely a mini album that seems to be maintaining a consistent high energy. So I don't know what we're going to get from the last two songs. I can't believe we're already talking about the last two songs, but that's what happens when we have a mini album. But Zenmai and Dotoku Tosara, these are the last two that we got. And I'm looking forward to checking them out with you. But as always, guys, I want you to get in the comments and tell me what you think. And until I hopefully see you very soon for the next one of these. For now, it's a great album, isn't it? Ciao, ciao.